was catching my breath, floors of I hear voices thunder.
When I returned from Norway in November 2018, I had a lot of work to do because I had not brought with me to Norway all the important facts about who I was to show the Norwegians. Not only did the hive mind, the beehive mind of Facebook and Instagram believe I was obsessed with Jeanette, but then it was believed I was trying to find fame through Taylor. So when I returned to the USA, I began showing pictures of everything possible that proved my interest in fishing and music. I made a post of a doodle I had made after I had returned from Norway in November 2018. I had returned to the United States after I purchased my building in Norway. I spent the summer there. I spent 6 months there, and then I returned to the United States. After I returned, I started to prove to everyone the things about who I was that I didn't have access to when I was in Norway, because I was someone who nobody knew. Nobody knew who I was when I was in Norway, other than the fact that I came there because I'd met Jeanette. So when I returned to the United States after being there 6 months without having been granted my residency, I started to make posts of everything about who I was, especially things about music and fishing. And on December 14th, 2018, I made a post of a doodle I had made in high school of an iconic Led Zeppelin album cover. I made the doodle on a toy box my dad made me. The doodle was of Led Zeppelin's fourth studio album known as Led Zeppelin 4. When Taylor released a photo shoot as she released her new album Evermore in December 2020, I immediately recognized the similarity to Led Zeppelin's album 4 and how both albums used a frame to showcase a photo, or photos in Taylor's case. She released a series of photos that had frames on it, very creatively similar to the Led Zeppelin album cover. The frame on the Led Zeppelin album cover. Not only that, but more recognizable, the title of Taylor's Evermore matched the title, Evermore, Taylor's album, matched Led Zeppelin's popular song that was also in the album that Led Zeppelin released, album 4. So in Led Zeppelin's album 4, that on that cover had a man carrying a bundle of sticks in a frame. Taylor's new album that was named Evermore, Taylor released a series of photos that had a frame on it that was very similar to the picture in the frame on Led Zeppelin's album 4. And in album 4 is Led Zeppelin's popular song titled The Battle of Evermore. I could not help but draw the connection once again between Taylor and myself, because I had posted long before that the doodle I had made of Led Zeppelin's album cover of the man carrying the bundle of sticks. So once again, the connection between Taylor and myself revealed itself in Taylor's release of her new album titled Evermore and the photo shoot she had released with it. This proving to myself and many other people that the creative interaction was continuing between us. I don't think at the time I was able to repost all of this because of my bundle of sticks that I posted in December 2018, because there was a lot of stuff going on that I also had to post, and it wasn't a priority at the time. Yes, well, we mustn't we mustn't neglect to recognize that, yes, Taylor was also interacting with the English, as she had earlier in the year been on the cover of Rolling Stones with Paul McCartney. Was it her plan to further entrench herself? Because music, pop culture of the 60s and 70s mixed with the British invasion, the British musical invasion, a term given to the British coming to the United States, the Beatles, Rolling Stones. There's 4 different bands. I can't remember them all right this second. A great way for her to capitalize on the political pop culture music vacuum. The political vacuum. There's also could be a political pop culture music vacuum as the generations start to forget about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Something has to replace what everyone was focused on. The Beatles and the Rolling Stones were the big pop culture event of the 60s and 70s. And once we start to forget about them, Taylor moves in to England. Or was it also to win the hearts of the British? She started dating an Englishman, Joe, to strengthen her relationship with Joe. Did she do all this for Joe? For her and Joe? Is it possible my sketch from December 14th, 2018, just after I left my building in Norway, left Taylor a creative idea or a catalyst to leapfrog upon? Because I had posted that, she could then leapfrog off of my idea without having to do anything, without having to. It's a different feeling when you're focused on what someone else did to take you somewhere else. The fact that I posted the bundle of sticks from the doodle that I made when I was in high school, that I reposted after I returned from Norway, gave her a pedestal to leapfrog, use that idea to leapfrog on. Now, this is nothing that bothers me, but it's something that I recognized. And this was just one more of the many occurrences that began happening between Taylor and I after I made my tile of her in Norway in March 2018, and I made that tile as an emotional statement, a symbolic gesture to my decision to begin again and buy a building in Oda, Norway, because I could no longer create the designs. I no longer felt like I needed at that time in Oda. Jeanette was with the professional fisherman when I went there to go and meet her and deliver all those tiles to her, which I would eventually do. But when she left with the professional fisherman, it created this moment, these days where I was questioning, why am I doing all this for this woman in Norway when she's running off with another man and everyone gets to see it on social media? I decided to carve a tile of the other woman in my life who I was very much following, Taylor Swift. So I made the tile begin again to reach out to her. Not personally, but just, being creative by myself, creating a tile of her and posting it and showing everyone that I'm not flipping out over Jeanette, whatever. She wants to go with another guy up to Norway, up on a fishing trip when I meet her. That's fine. I'm gonna make a tile of someone else who I'm interested in. Never thinking that Taylor Swift would ever hear about it, because I wasn't planning on selling the tile. It was just a creative statement that I would made one of. So this is a story that's just percolating at this moment that I wanted to share with everyone.
And I was catching my breath, floors of a cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure